Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. My name is Jerry, and I have the honor of being your host today. If this is your first time, we are delighted that you have chosen to join us today. With modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives, especially through Zoom and Facebook. Please feel free to visit our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We add our recordings to our website each week. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living an ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. Holmes developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into the world. At CSL Charlotte, every philosophy is honored along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinctions. This is a diverse, open, and affirming community. There are many paths to the divine. We can call it God, peace, love, or spirit. It doesn't matter what you call it, that is totally your decision. You don't have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many holy scriptures such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, just to name a few. Our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of individuals. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet each Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So welcome everyone and enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each of us. So now I'll pass the mic to our illustrious spiritual leader, Reverend Lee.
Whoa, thank you, Groovy. That was just phenomenal. So, with that being said, everybody, you heard who we are. We are CSL Charlotte, the Mind Body Spirit Center. So, this goes out to everybody, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or any part of our community. If you hear us, you are in the right place. So, remember, this is the Mind Body Spirit Center as well. We got to have all three of them connected. But just realize this, every month we recognize whatever culture, whatever the people are doing at that time, so we can let people know that we're diverse, like Ruby said. We are honoring Women's Month this month, and so we're celebrating this divine feminine spirit that we have. And the good news is, I'm one of them women, so I feel good and I'm very proud of myself for being one. So, for generations, just to know, just in case people aren't aware, women have engaged in some sort of practices because they had to experience the art or the peace of apatheia as well. You'll find out more about what apatheia is in a minute. But at CSL Charlotte, we recognize that same power that came all the way down from history into all of us, and it's never gone away and it will never leave us. So with that, this month, let's honor the voices. You'll hear about some stories and you'll hear the strategy that these women used and the strength that they had. But remember, all of us as women and men will continue to evolve and inspire and lead. But not only that, we will continue to use that same divine spirit that's been here from the day of our conception and way beyond. So the first thing we do is we open our celebration service with an affirmative prayer. So today we're talking about the Peace of Apatheia, which you will know about it in a short while. But first on our platform is going to be my friend and spiritual sister, Dr. Wanda. And she's coming from sunny California, and she's going to be telling us her little prayer. So listen to her prayer, and then see if you got a little bit of an inkling about the Peace of Apatheia. And if you would like to know more about that, even beyond the talk, Put it in a prayer request. Go to our website right now and request a prayer to learn about the Peace of Apatheia. The words are so funny, but you're going to find out in a little while that it's not as hard as you might have thought. So here's the thing. You have to put in that prayer request if you order, if you really want to know this. So with that being said, okay, Dr. Wanda, let it rip.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to CSL Charlotte. I know that each and every person has been called here this morning and beyond because this prayer will be available through CSL Charlotte's website when this is replayed, so you can go to it at any time. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's just center. Pull yourself in, pull your spirit back from all the places that it goes and all the things that pull your attention away from your center. Move into your heart. Just feel all the energy draining right into the heart center. Because today is about detachment, detaching from all the outside influences. And with that, what I know is that there is a power and a presence greater than anything outside of that inner beingness that is the God source from which we were breathed into existence. Breathe that in, allow that to become your awareness. And as I breathe that in, what I know right here and right now is that whatever is going on in the world, whatever looks chaotic, is simply something trying to birth itself into something new. And sometimes that's messy, and sometimes it's scary. But the truth is, it's positive. It's always positive. We're always moving towards something better. Spirit never goes back, only forward. And so I stay centered because I know that today we are gathered to join together in what I call attunement. It's that God frequency that we're all tuned into all at the same time. And by being consciousness within, I know that we can change the world because it starts with the individual consciousness, watching every word and making sure that those words are words of kindness and love and joy and acceptance and inclusion and power and love and freedom. And so what I do is I breathe that in because that is our divine birthright. That is what we speak, we act, we see, we do. In the Bible, it says faith without works is dead. And what we say is in science of mind is treat and work your feet, move your feet. Because once you do a prayer treatment, it requires action. And the action has to be an action of love. Love is the highest vibration in the universe. And I know that we gather in love this morning, and I feel blessed and grateful to be part of a group of people who are so committed and so willing to share of their time, talent, and treasure to provide this platform for all who need it. And I know that everything we do here helps to shift the world into a higher vibration. And as I breathe that in, I just say thank you. And I know that Reverend Rosedale is a blessing into the world. I have known her for a long time, and I know that her heart is filled, that she is genuine, that she is joyful, that she is happy, that she is right here, right now, detached from anything else, living in apatheia. And with that, I simply release these words into power and presence that only knows yes. And so it is.
And so it is. Now you've gotten all your hints through the prayer from Dr. Wanda. She let us know that the peace of Apatheia means detachment. So that's your first hint. Next on our platform is our reader, which is Rachel McKinnon. Now, Rachel, I've known for over 2 years as a holistic practitioner. I find out everything new every time I talk to her. I find something new. But just the other day, I said to myself, she is definitely opening open to experience the peace of Apatheia because of the way she talks, the way she listens, and the way she actually cares when she's listening. So listen to Rachel's reading today, and you'll gain clarity on the peace of Apatheia for yourself. So after Rachel's reading, make sure you listen to the song that follows it called God Is by Karen Drucker. And you're going to be inspired even more to feel the power of apatheia as long as you're listening. So with that being said, prepare yourself to feel the peace of apatheia through the reading of Rachel. Rachel, make it do what it do.
Peace and light, everyone. Today's reading, Flowing with Life, The Power of Detachment by Reverend Rosedale Jones. Have you ever considered the possibility that reality isn't something you move through, but something that moves through you? Most people are in an emotional prison based on the thoughts that they have. Most of those thoughts are imaginary things that don't even happen. Either way, is based upon the fear that many people are facing and don't even realize it. It's called the pain body or emotional pain. To free ourselves from the grips of emotional pain, we must first understand how it takes hold and shapes our reality. How do we escape the mental cycle? The answer lies in recognizing a simple truth. You are not your thoughts. The moment you step back and observe your mind, rather than letting it control you, you begin to break free. But there's another step to true freedom: letting go. Letting go doesn't mean turning away from life or being indifferent. It's about being fully present in the moment without clinging to specific outcomes. In other words, it's called effortless action. Even when we flow with life, instead of fighting against it, things are often falling into place. The struggles start to fade away. From this place of letting go, something powerful begins to happen. We discover the ability to shape our reality. When we truly believe in positive outcomes, our mind responds as though it has already happened, helping us create the life we envision. But if we let our fear dominate, we attract more of what we fear. By choosing belief over fear, we open the door to a higher awareness, a space where we think and feel begins to shape the world around us. Quote, when we stop fighting ourselves, we're automatically drawn to detachment. Reverend Rosedale Jones.
So beautiful just to get started and to set ourselves up today. So we're going to get started with a short centering. And then if you just think about it, relax your eyes and begin to think about God is. What does that mean to you? You know, the song pretty much says it all for itself. It's an affirmation. It says, everything God is, I am. And if we embrace that or affirm it, we naturally feel the peace of apatheia. You've been guided through the peace of apatheia for quite a few minutes now, and Dr. Wanda kind of got us on track with it. So when you come to the conclusion that God is everything, including you, that's just you feeling the peace of apatheia. So the words that this song evokes is profound, are profound. Is it what it is? It's a sense of unity, divinity, and completeness. See, well, okay, for me, that's exactly what it is. Unity, divinity, and completeness. What about you? It reflects, or I should say, it's a reflection of the idea that the divine essence, where does it reside? In us. So it means that there's nothing that can stop me from anything, from enjoying my life, from actually starting something new, or none of that. It's God is everything I am. So building a great life is what the only thing I can do with that knowledge. Let's put it that way. See, the song tells me a lot about the Peace of Apatheia because it is you right now who are very curious about what it is right now for you. What is the Peace of Apatheia for me? So, as we celebrate Women's History Month, boom, we're aligning ourselves with this divine nature, the Peace of Apatheia. And after we do that, then you'll begin to understand that I can enjoy the Peace of Apatheia. So deepen the practice and let the truth of who you are feel the Peace of Apatheia. And as you do that, take another deep breath right now and begin to wiggle your fingers and feel the Peace of Apatheia and your toes. And then you can be at choice whether you choose to think and believe and know that you are in the Peace of Apatheia, or you can get your spiritual practices to find out what you feel about this Peace of Apatheia. And you can do that for yourself or not. Remember, you're at choice. So as you think about this and wiggle your fingers and your toes, once again, look around your space as if you're new to it. And as you do that, find something in your space that will connect you back to the present moment. And just allow yourself to be here right now to experience the Peace of Apatheia. I gotta ask you, I'm gonna start you off with a story. Imagine your mind was a maze, M-A-Z-E. And you feel like you're making progress, but yet you feel stuck. This happens when people become so absorbed in their own thoughts and emotions that they can no longer see beyond their thoughts. They can't even start their day. They even start to believe those erroneous thoughts that they have. They may find themselves constantly chasing outside approval. They're constantly seeking approval and compliments to feel validated. Eventually, they begin to realize that they're stuck in an inner prison that was built just by their own mind patterns or thoughts. See, Eckhart Tolle, if you haven't heard, he's a spiritual teacher. Eckhart Tolle, he calls this the pain body. So these erroneous thoughts are just what creates the pain body. The pain body is a state of mind, and what it does here, it requires the Peace of Apatheia, meaning detachment. So this state of mind that this pain body creates could be so many different things. But what it is people identify through their past wounds that they do it so much that they unknowingly build their own prison, and then they're always around, everything is around their suffering. Oh, this is bad today, and this is that, and each other. People begin to talk to each other and give each other the same old stories over and over. That's the pain body that people are experiencing and won't let each other free from it because they're still doing it. So instead of healing, people are replaying constantly painful stories over and over. They keep telling the same stories. You get it? When you get on the phone with that person, they just told you all of the problems, their hardships. They get back on the phone with you again. They're talking about their problems and their hardships. They don't even realize that they're reinforcing the very struggles that they claim they want to escape from. Right? See, people have these emotional imprints. And I'm doing it like this because People build little buttons in their life by things they think. So whatever it is they're thinking, that's true for them. So that's a button. Okay, those are imprints, emotional imprints that they put in them. So what it is that they need spiritual practice, right? For lack of a better word, I couldn't think of anything else, but that's what is needed. See, the pain body manifests through those emotional imprints, right? So whatever you built, you did. So if something I did to you upsets you, you know what? I might have said something that you felt upset about, but I didn't build that button. You did. So if I pushed your button, that's because you built one there to make it so. So in other words, you have to say, well, that person meant to hurt me by saying X, Y, and Z to me, and I don't like it. But no, this person may not even have an idea that I don't like that. It's me, my pain body, my old past wounds that are keeping it alive, that are keeping the buttons lit up, if you will, on the elevator. Okay? It also, pain body is also displayed by the avoidance of new relationships. Some people won't go to new relationships because this old heartbreak still lingers. They have not gotten beyond their past. The pain body, some people experience it by letting small criticism trigger them into these overwhelming senses or feelings of being unworthy or imposter syndrome. You know what it is? You're really feeling some kind of way just because of what somebody said, because you feel triggered, not because what they said is true, but they may, like again, may have no idea that that thing was going to set you off that far. Your buttons, you allow them to be pressed. Did you ever, listen, here's an example. Did you ever decide you're going to argue with somebody because of something that an opinion that they had, but yet you took that opinion as criticism? Well, that's the pain body. Pain body reactions, they can make you feel like that's an automatic feeling. Well, that's how I am. That's what I usually think. Well, no, you're choosing to be that way because you keep announcing that's the way I am. But you know what? You're really driven by unresolved pain, emotional imprints, those emotional imprints that you created. So don't feel bad. So anyway, I'm reading this book called Free Will by Sam Harris, and it explains that many people mistake their thoughts for their true identity. They think this is really who they are because they think this. They aren't. They're just not true. See, here's this. Their thoughts tell them their identity, and they believe those thoughts. But those thoughts are simply just mental or mindful events that created and won't let go. It's just an idea. That's why apatheia, the act of detachment, which is one and the same, is necessary. And you do that through spiritual practices. So they're just letting all these thoughts come through, but you know what? They believe the thoughts. But let me tell you what thoughts really are. They're just passing events. They're just passing events, just something you thought of. And some of the times, just like my reading said, according to Rachel, they don't even come true. They are not absolute truths. Some people, they use their ability, which is rightfully so, to release themselves from their prison. And the ability they use is to practice the Peace of Apatheia, which is detachment. All right, they find themselves lost in these thoughts, and attachment is the biggest thing that's going to create that pain body that Eckhart Tolle talks about, especially if you have not had an opportunity to actually experience the Peace of Apatheia. See, the pain body actually shapes our emotions, our mind, and our body and our spirit. And then the spiritual practice actually heals the pain body. So apatheia is a concept. That's all it is, but it's a practice at the same time. It's a concept from the ancient group called the Stoic philosophy, and we use it as spiritual practices in all types of spiritual movements. It's a spiritual practice. Detachment. And the word apatheia, people want to think it's apathy, but no, apathy, that word was added somewhere to make people not to make you get off track. If you believe everything you read, then you could get off track. But the word apathy does not mean I don't care. But they gave it in the Webster Dictionary as I don't care. But in spiritual terms, apatheia means detach from the outcome. I'm not going to be all worried about, is that going to happen? No, I need to get peaceful about this. I need to let go. It doesn't matter. And it's a lot of work. It's not just a one and done where you can say, okay, I practiced today, so I'm done. No, it's a lot of more developing yourself and understanding more about you, taking that time. It's a practice. We have to transform into the peace of apatheia when we start to let all those thoughts that keep coming through, when we start letting them mean something to us. That's when you're attached, when they mean something. See, my thoughts used to get out of control a lot, and they still get out of there a little bit now. But when I reflect back to where I was some 30 or 40 years ago, I'm so grateful for the many transformations that I've experienced, and also the many times that when I had these transformations, I felt the peace of apatheia. So I feel like it all started back in the 90s when I learned yoga, when I started practicing yoga. When I started the practice of yoga, I felt this calm and easy feeling in that practice toward the end of the class and whatever I did. But it was a really steady and persistent presence that I began to feel. Well, that was the peace of apatheia, even though that's not what I used it at that time. It was just the beginning of my journey to move from a whole new place till today. See, I had begun to feel this peace even through the tough times that I was going. I started noticing them in different spots. But you know what? I just didn't call it the peace of apatheia yet. Apatheia is not just a philosophy from the Stoic people. It's a practice that aligns beautifully with what we do at CSL Charlotte. You see, like I said, it's the art of detaching. That's what apatheia is. It's the art of detachment. And so it's not becoming, it's what we are. So we're not becoming something, we are at peace because we are not attached to the outcome of this particular affirmation, of this particular prayer, or whatever. So the art of standing firm in our inner being, knowing that we cannot be lost or we cannot be swayed. So it's a state of peace. It is so rooted in our spiritual essence. Sometimes we actually look outside of us for different things to actually occur to us. And so when apatheia really gets into our spirit, you no longer need to chase whatever's outside. So from the reading that Rachel read that I wrote, to free ourselves from the grip of emotional pain, we must first understand how it takes a hold of us, and then it shapes our reactions. When you start to recognize that, wow, look at how I'm reacting, you know I'm attached. We got to free ourselves. That's the first part of feeling the peace of apatheia. So with that being said, how do we escape that mental cycle that we wrote about? The answer is it lies in recognizing a simple truth. You are not your thoughts. You just got to recognize that. And like I said in the reading, the more you step back and you observe your mind rather than letting it go and control you, you break free from your prison. All you got to do is step back and look at you. Step back and listen to what you just said. Step back and honor some things about yourself. It's the stepping back. It's the surrendering to life's really problems and challenges. Surrender without resistance. Then you experience the peace of Apatheia. It's trusting. It's all about trusting that all of these challenges are just part of your greater good unfolding. That's exactly what it is. So everything you see going on in the world today that you can call it is something for you to worry about, I think you need to look at it as part of the greater good unfolding, because when you look at it in that way, then it's easier to live with, and then you can go about your business and continue creating your life. If you're going to continue looking at politics and what's going on over there, you're not going to have time to create your world. You're only going to have time to think of big challenges and look at them as big monsters. You're not going to see them as unfolding as something greater in your life. You see, because here's the thing. Throughout history, women have shown this power. They've been meeting challenges. They've been meeting them with these firm, calm, and resilience that we all have. But we got to come down and really succumb to that surrender. See, I am clear that many people that are successful and that we can talk about in history has shown the peace of Apatheia. Whether you can understand that or not, look at this. See, let's go like this. Since we are practicing Women's Month, since we are in Women's Month, there are many women who are definitely involved. But with that being said, I want you to listen to Alan. He is going to give us a report on a woman in history, and she is going to pretty much talk. You're going to really hear how she had to have dealt with the peace of Apatheia. So Alan, would you come on and talk to us about yours?
All right. Well, everybody, it's not just about history, but also current times too. So that's the lady I chose, is somebody who is currently alive and currently powerful. And the lady I chose today, her name is Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, and she's the current president of Mexico. She was born in June 24th, 1962, and is currently serving as president of Mexico since October 1st, 2024, the first woman to hold the office. Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo was born on June 24th, 1962 in Mexico City, within a secular Mexican Jewish family. She is the second child of chemist Carlos Sheinbaum Yaselowitz and biologist Annie Pardo Samuel. Annie Pardo is from a Sephardi Jewish family who arrived in Mexico in 1942, fleeing from the persecution of Jews in Bulgaria during World War II. Sheinbaum's parents were actively involved in Mexican left-wing circles during the 1960s, participating in protests, workers' movements, and student uprisings. Claudia Sheinbaum has a passion for science, and she earned an undergraduate degree in physics at UNAM in 1989 and a PhD in energy engineering in 1995. During her time as a student at UNAM, Sheinbaum was a member of the University Student Council, a group of students that would become the founding youth movement of the Party of the Democratic Revolution. Sheinbaum completed the work for her PhD thesis between 1991 and 1994 at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in California. In 1995, Sheinbaum joined the faculty of the Institute of Engineering at UNAM. In 1999, she received the prize for being the best UNAM young researcher in engineering and technological innovation. She has co-authored over 100 articles and 2 books on energy, the environment, and sustainable development. She has contributed to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. On December 5th, 2000, she was appointed by her mentor, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, as the Secretary of the Environment for Federal District 5 and served until May 15, 2006. During her term, she oversaw the introduction of the Metrobus, a bus rapid transit system with dedicated lanes. Lopez Obrador included Sheinbaum in his proposed cabinet for the Secretariat of Environmental and National Resources as part of his campaign for the 2012 presidential election. In 2014, she joined Lopez Obrador's new political party, the National Regeneration Movement, also known as Morena. In 2015, she became the mayor of Tlalpan, one of the boroughs of Mexico City. She campaigned on a platform focused on improving public services and public spaces, reducing corruption, and implementing social programs for women and young adults. On December 5th, 2018, Sheinbaum was inaugurated as Mexico City's head of government. She became the first elected female head of government and the first to come from the Jewish background. In 2019, Sheinbaum declared a gender violence alert in Mexico City, responding directly to the outcry over violence against women. This decision was accompanied by the creation of the SOS Star 765 hotline and the construction of 712 kilometers of safe pathways with panic buttons under the slogan "Walk Free, Walk Safe," designed to ensure women's safety as they move around the city. And Mexico City is a city of 20 million people, by the way. Sheinbaum promoted the Yes to Disarmament, Yes to Peace gun buyback program aimed at reducing the number of firearms held by civilians and thereby decreasing related crimes. The program allowed citizens to anonymously exchange their weapons, whether acquired legally or otherwise, for cash. Under her administration, the program, which cost about 40 million Mexican pesos, managed to collect 6,546 firearms. As part of her administration's education policy, the My Scholarship to Start scholarship program was created for 1.2 million students from preschool to secondary education, and in 2012 was elevated to constitutional law in Mexico City. Community centers called pillars were established in marginalized neighborhoods and towns. These spaces promoted arts, sports, education, and cultural activities. On March 1st, 2024, Sheinbaum launched her presidential campaign, outlining her commitment to continuing President López Obrador's policies, which included increasing the minimum wage above inflation, elevating social programs to constitutional law, and implementing new social programs for students from preschool to secondary education and for women aged 40 and over 60 and over. The presidential election took place on June 2nd, 2024. She received the highest number of votes recorded for a candidate in Mexican history, carrying 31 out of 32 states. She assumed office on October 1st, 2024. She has taken a more calm, strategic approach to Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. Instead of initiating retaliatory tariffs, she chose to collaborate behind the scenes with his cabinet and to negotiate mutually beneficial solutions to the issues of immigration, border crime, and the fentanyl drug problem. So for these reasons, I chose to speak about Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo because she is a celebrated scientist, political activist, and a strategic president who has a calm, analytical response to difficult situations. And with that, I'll pass the mic over to Reverend Rosedale.
That said, women make the best police officers. Women make the best presidents. Women make a lot. Did you hear what he said about the calm? It is powerful. So thank you, Alan, for bringing us that because it was really good. It's very opening. It's very freeing to know that Claudia set her mind and she conquered Mexico. So you know what? There's a couple more women that's out here right now on the rise. But remember, each and every one of us just need to learn the Peace of Apatheia, because the Peace of Apatheia comes from our deep dialogues between the spirit and ourselves. And they always have this, they have always been with us. They will never leave us. So here's a recent and personal experience for myself, for example. And it told me this week about the Peace of Apatheia, because all the time that I'm practicing and getting ready for my talk every Sunday, I get to evolve every single week, and it shows me. A couple of weeks ago, a person requested that I come to one of their programs and help their people in this thing called Live Well, because I'm about mind, body, and spirit. A lot of people are out here now constantly giving me raves and talking about me and sending people my way. So I've been invited to come to a couple of them, but I chose at the time not to go yet because what I wanted to do was what I like doing, is personal training. But it was just that I just wanted to up my game. So I wanted to get involved with them, and so I just wasn't ready yet. But I'm excited because what happens is I've been still continuously not being so attached to everything that somebody does that I really want to do. So that's part of the peace that I've been experiencing. So I RSVP'd to their luncheon for a ceremony that they're having because they just finished with a whole new group of people who got past some of their injuries and their illnesses, and they just wanted me to appear. I didn't know that. So anyway, I sent them I was so pleased the way I saw this lady send me back a note, and she said, "I'm so happy you will be there." She said, "This is wonderful," and I'm like, "Okay, that's nice," but it really touched me. I said, "Oh, wow, this is fantastic." So at the luncheon, I was also surprised again when she honored me with the kind words that she shared about me when she mentioned me. And I was looking around the audience saying, who is this woman she talking about? Honestly, I started literally looking, wow, that's nice stuff she's saying. And she's talking about me. So then when she said my name, guess what happened? Now, I guess you would think it would be crazy, but a flood of imposter syndrome thoughts, you understand me, came flooding through me like, I need to leave. I was not ready. But without me, so instead of me taking that, what I did was what I always tell you: set that mind clear with some type of affirmation, some kind of way. So I started saying, I have the peace of Apatheia. Because why? I'm getting ready to talk about this, right? Detachment. I'm not attached to the woman that they're talking about. I'm her, right? So I stepped doing that. So then I said, I'm not attached to, I'm in the peace of Apatheia. And that means that I'm detached. So that means I'm detached from whatever is happening here. So all these unworthy thoughts of imposter syndrome, I'm not attached. And I just kept saying it over and over while she was talking, and I kept smiling, and I kept saying it. All right? So when I'm caught off guard, and when you're caught off guard, and you're unsure what to say nothing. Smile. That's exactly the best thing you got, is that smile. And I have felt centered in my calmness, just like he just mentioned that word, Shambam. When he said she'd gotten to everything through her and President Trump, she is keeping a calm, nice stature about herself. So she's a conqueror. She's a true conqueror, if you ask me. And so a conqueror embodies the peace of Apatheia. You just got to know that. And one of the things that I truly noticed about me this week was I am a conqueror and I have the peace of Apatheia. Now, do you understand what the peace of Apatheia is really all about yet? Well, I'm not going to be able to do that much longer, but giving you all these ideas, but that is the peace of Apatheia. So when we know what we want, and when we know that nobody has the power and control over what we do, we have the peace, but we are also conquerors. I'm so proud of this woman for being the first woman to be elected president in Mexico. We got it coming, guys, but you can't succumb to this stuff you're hearing. You are a conqueror. Do something different. So what do you think it's going to take for you to become a conqueror and feel the peace of Apatheia? Tell us about that one day. Okay, but with that being said, this next song is going to give you a big affirmation. And I sure hope you start to sing it, because it's sure going to be something. Listen to the song Conqueror by the Empire Cast. Yes, that was so powerful, and it's always powerful to me, because I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees looking for outside approval for anybody to give me validation, because I am a conqueror. Did you get that? Is that going to be your affirmation? I am a conqueror and I don't accept defeat. And all you got to do, what did they say? Try telling me no, because one thing about me, I am a conqueror and I don't accept defeat. Ha! So are you a conqueror who won't accept defeat? If you are, then you have the peace of Apatheia. Now, did you get the peace of Apatheia today? Did you get it? That's all I want to know. Fantastic. So with that said, you guys, you know exactly what's going on here because you know what we do and you know where we are. So I want to give big shout outs to all of our team on here today. So remember, this morning we had our great, fabulous mistress of ceremony, who was Jerry Campbell Groovy G, and the opening prayer from Dr. Wanda was always is a blessing. It always feels good and open to hear from her. And thank you, Rachel, for being that reader today because you were spot on with it, and I felt every word. I love it when somebody reads and I'm going, oh, that's so interesting, because that is what I feel. You just make me feel good about that. And Melissa, thank you so much for being our spotlighter today and the person to be the gatekeeper to make sure all is well. And thank you, Timmy P, our fearless fire pilot, for bringing us through, and Alan for doing our reading. Our announcements and so many other things all at once. But thank you so much. And with that being said, more thanks to you, Maureen Thurston, AKA our spiritual practitioner, who is on the line constantly waiting for those prayer requests to come in. So if you have not received a prayer from CSL Charlotte, that's because you did not put in a prayer request. Basically, it takes you 2 minutes or less just to put that in. So go to our website, cslcharlotte.org. And before we close out, recognize today was all about the peace of Apatheia. In order to fully embrace into this journey of detachment, we have to be able to recognize and draw inspiration from some place with the powerful truth instead of our thoughts. So the place to do that is in spiritual practice. So that means when you're in the peace of Apatheia, that you are willing to detach yourself from your outcome, whatever it is, you're detaching from that to reach your highest good. And so remember, we have to access this calm detachment where we can keep our center so that the peace of Apatheia comes on and we're feeling it. And that's how we do it. So just get it going on. So our power is not just potential, okay? It is definitely the truth of who we are. So with that being said, you got to notice that we are powerful. So how do I say that? Powerful is the word used today for us. That's what we are. And the only way you got to know that, and you come to that conclusion, is in the peace of Apatheia, at the detachment, after you're done with your affirmation, after you're done with your prayer. You heard Dr. Wanda say, treat and move your feet. Well, that is what we do. So with that, I want you to hear this next song because it's going to describe you to the T, and it's going to be powerful. So make sure you understand how powerful you really are in this next song. Did you know? Did you hear the song Powerful? Did it speak to you in any kind of way? Did you feel that strength and resilience when you heard that song? Well, you probably did, but I hope you did for sure. So with that being said, Dr. Wanda, would you go ahead and pray us out?
Yes, thank you so much today for that talk, Reverend Rosedale, because it's perfect. I've been working with some of my clients on detachment because of so much chaos going on in the world. But what it boils down to today is that apathy is the first step in detaching and pulling your spirit back from all the noise outside. And what it leaves is love. Love is the highest vibration in the world. We have to act out of love. Even when someone is not appearing to be lovable, we must send love vibrations out. So right here, right now, I invite you to just center yourself and just bask in the love and the light and the power of the words that were spoken today. So as I speak these words for myself, I speak them for each and every one of you. I recognize that I am created in the image and likeness of God. I am that I am. All that I am is God. I was breathed into existence from that God source. God is love, light. And I am knowing with a persistent conviction that love is what I am. It is love that indwells me, love that thrills me, love that strengthens me, love that goes out from me, and love reflecting back to me. I am in love with this thing called life, and it is in love with me. I am the expression of the source in form. Therefore, I am pure love. I do not hesitate, nor do I fear to express my loving nature in all that I do. Love creates through me wonderful and exciting new experiences in order that I may fully and completely express the love that I am. In this moment, love prospers and blesses all who connect with this powerful energy. It is flowing from me, it is flowing from you, and it cannot be denied. Love knows no nationality, no race, no gender, no political opinion. It embraces everyone and everything with its powerful healing energy. I am radiant with love's desire to realize my oneness, my in oneness with all of life. And I celebrate this realization with gratitude and joy now and forever. And I simply place these words into a source that only knows yes, yes. And so I simply say, aho, I'm in, and so it is.
And so it is. Yes, indeed. So soak all of those words in and get them all understood that the peace of Apatheia is detachment. So as I wrap up, I want you to remember that we are powerful. And what makes us even more powerful is when we know it and affirm it. And so the peace of Apatheia is our destination this week. So therefore, for Women's History Month, remember the past women, but also recognize the divine power unfolded in you if you're a woman and all women today. So with that being said, remember that that same spirit that lived some billions of years ago is that same spirit that's always constant and present in our lives. It's the peace of Apatheia. So remember, the universe is always supporting you on your journey. Remember, until we meet again, that you are grateful to roll with the peace of Apatheia. With that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. And so it is.